Hello everyone, it's Annie, and today I am here to do my September TBR. So I have really exciting plans for September. I am so excited because there's going to be a readathon called Sci-Fi September. That's perfect for me. I am so excited. It is run by Jessie from Bow Ties and Books and some other people that I don't remember, but I will link them in the description, and I am so excited to do this. So let's get started. So the first book I am going to read for Sci-Fi September will be Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I'm finally reading this. This will be my first book by Octavia E. Butler that I ever read. So I'm very happy that I am finally going to read one of this classic author's books. So I am reading it for the prompts A Classic, Time Travel, and Non-Space. And I'm sure everyone knows what this is about, but just in case you don't, short synopsis. Dana, the main character, is an African-American woman living in the 1970s when she is inexplicably taken back in time to antebellum Maryland, where she saves a drowning white boy who happens to grow up into a slaveholder. But the trick is that, first of all, it seems like from the synopsis she can't really control when or how long she goes back in time, but also this little boy that she saves grows up. He is a slaveholder, but he is also her direct ancestor. So she needs to keep him alive, and that is her mission. And it sounds so beautifully complex and just absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to finally read this book. And then for the Alien Presence, popular/hyped and recommended to me prompts, I will be reading Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Yay! I am so excited to read this. This is the perfect chance to do this because actually a lot of the sci-fi books on my TBR was hard to find that fit some of these prompts. So they really made me work, but this fits so many prompts so beautifully. This could also fit the LGBT prompt, but I have another book that will also fit for that later. So the basic premise of this is that there is a Rosemary Harper, who joins the crew of the Wayfarer, and she isn't expecting much. This ship has seen better days, but it offers her everything she could possibly want: a spot to call home, a chance to explore the far-off corners of the galaxy, and some distance from her past. And nothing could be further from what she's known than the crew of the Wayfarer. There is an exotic reptilian pilot, chatty engineers, and a noble Captain Ashby. Life aboard is chaotic and crazy, exactly what Rosemary wants, until the crew is offered the job of a lifetime, tunneling wormholes through space to a different planet. Yes, this is so beloved by people on Booktube, and it has been recommended to me so many times. So many people think I will love it, and I think I will as well because I adore Becky Chambers. I recently hauled this in my second sale book haul, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. Okay, and then for contemporary with sci-fi elements, I'm going to be reading An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I don't like this prompt. I'm just going to say that right now because I tend not to like light sci-fi, like books that are said that their genre is sci-fi, but then it's actually more literary or contemporary. I'm not a big fan of that, but this book has aliens, so maybe I'll like it. And First Contact. The basic story is that there is this girl who finds these mysterious statues, and she takes a video of one. And she is basically first contact with these weird alien things. And her video that she takes goes viral on YouTube. And it's kind of a mix of her dealing with, humanity and first contact with aliens, which is a whole story in and of itself, but also her skyrocket to fame on YouTube. So I am interested because I'm a YouTuber, not that I'm famous, but it's an interesting thing that I've never read about. And it has aliens, so I'm really hoping I like this. Then for the unpopular, underhyped book prompt and the water prompt, I'm going to be reading Darkling Sea. My sister read it, she liked it, so I'm going to give it a shot. This sounds really interesting. It has aliens, and basically these human explorers go to a planet covered in a thick layer of ice where these aliens called the Ilmatarans live underwater, and they are all blind. And that's really interesting in and of itself. But then there seems to be this really interesting political backdrop because humans and their first alien contact, the Sholins, are kind of doing like a Cold War type thing where they use these underwater aliens as like fodder for their conflict. So it sounds really interesting, and I'm very interested to see how the aliens think about that, the Imatarians who live underwater and they're just doing their own thing before they were dragged into this conflict. So I think this could have really interesting political intrigue, and I'm excited to read it. This next book I am reading for 4 prompts, and also it's going to be featured in volume 3 of my sapphic reading blog. It is Crier's War. It fits the robot AI prompt, non-human main character prompt, LGBT prompt, and fantasy elements prompt. So this sounds so interesting. I know it is a really beloved sapphic book, and it seems like, Crier is a robot. She is what's called a maid. And in the past, in this kingdom, the maid, these AIs, were made to serve the royal house of this kingdom. But then they didn't like that, so they rose up and took over. And now they are in charge, and the humans are kind of their servants. And so the other main character, a girl named Isla, has risen through the ranks, and she is determined to kill Crier because she is the heir to the throne. And there's a hate-to-love romance in there, maybe, and it just sounds so interesting. I love the concept of robots taking over, and I love the sapphic romance, so I'm very excited to finally be reading this classic sapphic book. And the last book I'm planning to read for Sci-Fi September is Dead Gin in Cairo. I am so excited to finally be reading Pete DeJelly Clark. I'm so excited! So this book will take care of the steampunk, global south, and short story prompts because it is quite short. So, the synopsis. Egypt, 1912. In an alternate Cairo infused with the otherworldly, the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities investigate disturbances between the mortal and the possibly divine. What starts off as an odd suicide case for Special Investigator Fatima leads her through the city's underbelly as she encounters rampaging ghouls, saucy assassins, clockwork angels, and plot that could unravel time itself. I have heard great things about this author. I really want to try his other books as well, but this just fit these prompts so perfectly, so this is the one I'm going to start with, and I'm so excited to read it. And then for the Buzzword-a-thon's word, which is dark, I'm going to be reading A Wish in the Dark. This was recommended by Sato from Satopin. You should definitely follow her booktube. I will also link her down below. She loved this book. This is a middle grade set in Thailand, inspired by Les Mis. How perfect can that be? I mean, I love Les Mis so much, so I'll read anything inspired by that. This just sounds so magical and beautiful. So let me read you a bit of a synopsis. A boy on the run, a girl determined to find him. All light in Chaitana is created by one man, the governor, who appeared after the Great Fire to bring peace and order to the city. For Pong, who was born in Namwon prison, the magical lights represent freedom, and he dreams of the day he will be able to walk among them. But when he escapes from prison, he realizes that the world outside is just as unfair as the one beyond bars. The wealthy dine and dance under bright lights, while the poor toil away in darkness. Worst of all, Pong's tattoo from prison marks him as a fugitive who can never be truly free. Nok, the prison warden's perfect daughter, is bent on tracking Pong down and restoring her family's good name. That's all I'm going to read, because it goes on, but I don't really want to know any more than that. I know it's obviously very obviously based on Jean Valjean and Javert, and I love Les Mis. Les Mis is my favorite musical of all time. It holds the #1 spot. So, I am really excited to read this. And then, for the Down Memory Jane read-along, our book this month for September is North Anger Abbey, which I am really excited because it is said to be Jane Austen's Gothic parody, which just sounds really cool and like something that would definitely be up my alley. So, just a little bit of it. The story's unlikely heroine is Catherine Morland, a remarkably innocent 17-year-old woman from a country parsonage. While spending a few weeks in Bath, she meets and falls in love with Henry, who invites her to visit his family's estate, Northanger Abbey. Once there, Catherine, a great reader of Gothic thrillers, lets the shadowy atmosphere of the old mansion fill her mind with terrible suspicions. That sounds great. It just sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I only have 2 more of Jane Austen's works to read, this one and Emma, so I am so excited to get to this one. And then I have a buddy read with Gloria. You should definitely follow her channel. She's one of my favorite booktubers. Her content is so good, and she definitely deserves more subs, so go check her out in the description. We are reading The Nesting Dolls by Alina Adams, and it is a Russian Jewish family saga, like a generational saga, historical fiction novel. I am so excited to read this. I love Russia and like Russian culture and history, so I'm really excited to read this book. It has been on my TBR for some time, and let me tell you, spanning nearly a century from 1930s Siberia to contemporary Brighton Beach, a page-turning epic family saga centering on 3 generations of women in one Russian Jewish family, each striving to break free of fate and history, each yearning for love and personal fulfillment, and how the consequences of their choices ripple through time. Very exciting stuff. I love historical fictions that are like generational sagas because I loved Ya Jassie's Homecoming and Pachinko, so I am really excited to read the Russian version, I guess, and yeah, I hope this is good. And I also have an arc that I would like to read, hopefully for my 3rd volume of my sapphic reading vlogs, which is Clash of Steel by C.B. Lee. I am really excited for this. It is said to be a Treasure Island remix, and it's sapphic, obviously, and it is set in and around the South China Sea, so that's very interesting. And the basic story, let me see if I remember, the main character wants to prove herself to her mother, but she misses her dad, and her dad is like gone for many years, but she learns that he used to sail with the deadly fleet of pirates that had once like been around the South China Sea, but the age of pirates is no more in this world, so she goes to find him, or what's left of him and his fleet, using the mysterious pendant that she has. But this pendant is stolen by a mysterious girl, so maybe that's where the sapphic stuff comes in. I really hope this is good because the cover looks amazing. This is one of my most anticipated releases for the second half of 2021, so let's hope it's good. So now I have a secret TBR of 3 books that I want to tell you about. If you have any ideas, please guess, because I'm so excited to be doing this. The first book I will read for it is Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World. This is a middle grade, hard-hitting middle grade that is very, very popular here on Booktube. I've never read from this author, but I've heard such great things. The basic premise of this story is that a tornado rips through a town and 12-year-old Ivy Aberdeen's house is destroyed. But her notebook full of drawings of girls holding hands is also destroyed, and she doesn't know where it is. It's lost. So she's worried about that. She's worried about having to come out or grapple with, what those drawings actually mean, and also grappling with the aftermath of this natural disaster. It sounds like it's going to be really hard-hitting, which is how I like my middle grades. So I'm very excited for this. And for the secret TBR, I am also going to be reading In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I have been wanting to read this for such a long time. It is a memoir about the author's experience in an abusive same-sex relationship, and it serves to highlight, that doesn't only happen in hetero relationships, it can happen in all relationships. And I have a feeling this is going to really upset me, but I need to read it. It's so beloved here on Booktube, and I need to read this. I think it's time. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. And then the last book for the secret TBR is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm so excited to get to this. Yes! Oh, I'm so excited. It is a murder mystery YA thriller, and it has such great reviews. Like, everyone loves it, and I have a feeling I'm gonna love it too. It gives me a lot of Serial vibes, that podcast, so I'm very excited for this. The story is that this high school senior is choosing an infamous murder mystery case from her hometown to do as her final senior project. And basically the case is closed. They think that this guy named Sal killed a schoolgirl, and everyone knows it, everyone knows he's guilty, but Pippa, the main character, might uncover some secrets that actually bring his guilt into question. So I guess we get to find out with her who the real perpetrator is of this murder and what actually happened. This sounds so fascinating and like something I would have absolutely loved when I was a teenager, so I really hope I love it now. I do, YA thrillers, I either really, really love them or really don't like them. So I'm really hoping that this I really, really like. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know down below what you're most excited to read for September, and if you're participating in Sci-Fi September as well, I'd love to know so we can read together. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!